What if I told you that the invisible law of karma, the cosmic ledger believed to track every sin and virtue, does not actually apply to you at all? When seekers came to the great sage Nisargadatta Maharaj, terrified of the consequences of their past actions, his response was not what they expected. He did not explain how to cleanse their karma or how to escape its consequences. Instead, he pointed to something far more radical. He said, "The one who believes he carries karma is itself an illusion. And if the doer itself cannot be found, then who exactly is there to inherit the karma?" Today we explore Maharaj's astonishing insight, the truth that dissolves the entire burden of past sins in a single moment of clear seeing. One day a seeker, troubled by this very issue, asked Maharaj with genuine concern, "If karma is real, then surely my past actions must follow me. Surely I must suffer or enjoy the consequences of what I have done." Maharaj listened quietly, as he often did, allowing the question to reveal its hidden assumptions. Then he replied in a way that cut directly to the root of the problem. He did not begin by arguing about karma itself. Instead, he asked the seeker to look more carefully at the one who claims ownership of karma. First, Maharaj implied, find the doer. This was always his approach. The human mind wants explanations about the structure of the universe, but Maharaj would always bring the attention back to the most immediate fact, the sense of being a separate person who claims, "I act, I choose, I accumulate karma." Without this assumed individual, the entire structure of karma collapses. At first this seems confusing. After all, actions clearly happen. Words are spoken, decisions are made, consequences unfold in the world. Maharaj never denied this movement of life. What he questioned was something subtler, the belief that there exists an independent personal entity at the center of this movement, an entity who performs actions and therefore becomes the owner of their consequences. In the language of non-duality, this assumed entity is called the doer, and according to Maharaj, the entire idea of personal karma rests upon the unquestioned belief that this doer is real. Without the doer, who exactly is there to inherit karma? The seeker then pressed further. "But Maharaj," he asked, "if there is no doer, how can actions occur? Surely someone must be acting." Maharaj smiled at this very human confusion. The mind cannot easily imagine action without a personal actor. Yet look closely at life itself. The heart beats, the lungs breathe, thoughts arise, emotions move through the mind, decisions appear, and actions follow. But if you observe carefully, where exactly is the individual controller directing this immense orchestration? Maharaj pointed out that life unfolds spontaneously, just as the wind moves through the trees or waves rise and fall in the ocean. The sense of a separate doer appears afterward, like a narrator claiming authorship of a story that is already being written by existence itself. This is why Maharaj often said that karma belongs to the body and the mind, not to the true self. The body acts according to its conditioning, the mind reacts according to its tendencies, and consequences naturally follow within this field of cause and effect. But the deeper question remains, are you truly the body and mind to whom these movements belong? Maharaj insisted that this identification is the original mistake. The moment consciousness says, "I am this person," the entire network of karma becomes meaningful. But when consciousness recognizes its true nature as pure awareness, untouched, limitless, prior to all phenomena, the story of personal karma begins to dissolve. The seeker, however, was not satisfied so quickly. If this is true, he asked, why do spiritual traditions speak so much about karma? Why do they emphasize good deeds, discipline, and moral responsibility? Maharaj acknowledged that within the realm of the person, karma functions as a practical teaching. As long as one believes oneself to be an individual actor moving through time, the law of karma encourages harmony and awareness. It teaches responsibility within the dream of individuality. But Maharaj's purpose was not merely to improve the dream. His purpose was to awaken the seeker from the dream entirely. And from the perspective of awakening, the entire framework of personal karma is revealed as a misunderstanding built upon mistaken identity. Imagine a character in a dream who believes he must repay debts accumulated during the dream itself. Within the dream, this makes perfect sense. Yet the moment the dreamer awakens, the entire narrative of debt and repayment loses its relevance. Maharaj used this kind of insight repeatedly. The awakened one does not deny that events unfold in the world. Rather, he sees that the world itself appears within consciousness, just as a dream appears within the mind. From that vantage point, the personal story of my karma begins to look like a misunderstanding arising within the larger movement of existence. The seeker then asked the most important question of all. If there is truly no personal karma, then what am I? Maharaj's response was simple but profound. He pointed again to the sense of being, the silent feeling, I am, that exists before any identity forms. Before the thought, I am this person, before the memory of the past, or the imagination of the future, there's a quiet presence aware of everything. This presence does not act, does not accumulate merit or sin, does not carry the burden of karma across time. It simply is. Maharaj repeatedly emphasized that discovering this pure sense of being is the doorway to freedom, because once you recognize yourself as this awareness, the entire story of personal bondage begins to fade. Notice how radical this insight truly is. If you are awareness itself, the witnessing presence in which thoughts, sensations, and actions appear, then karma belongs only to the movement within awareness, not to awareness itself. Just as a movie screen is never burned by the fires shown in the film, awareness remains untouched by the dramas playing within it. Maharaj pointed to this again and again. The suffering associated with karma arises only because consciousness has temporarily forgotten its own vastness and identified with the passing characters in the play of life. At this point, the seeker became very quiet. Something in the logic of Maharaj's words was beginning to resonate. If the personal self is only a temporary formation within consciousness, then perhaps the burden of karma has been misunderstood all along. Perhaps what we call karma is simply the mechanical unfolding of life within the field of body and mind. And perhaps the real discovery lies not in escaping karma through endless spiritual effort, but in recognizing the deeper reality that was never bound by it in the first place. Maharaj often said that liberation is not the result of purifying endless karmic impressions. Liberation comes from seeing clearly that the one who believed himself to be burdened by karma was never what you truly are. The moment this recognition dawns, the psychological weight of past actions dissolves. Life continues, actions continue, consequences continue. But the sense of personal bondage disappears. The ocean continues to produce waves, but the ocean itself is never disturbed by the shape of any particular wave. So when Maharaj spoke about karma in this radical way, he was not dismissing the ethical dimension of life. He was pointing beyond it. He was inviting the seeker to look deeper than the surface narrative of cause and effect, deeper than the story of personal history, deeper even than the identity we call me. And in that deeper seeing, something extraordinary becomes clear. The awareness in which this very moment is appearing has never been touched by any past action. It has never carried the weight of any sin or virtue. It has simply witnessed the entire play of life. And when this becomes unmistakably obvious, the old fear begins to dissolve. The question is no longer, what will happen to my karma? The question becomes something far more profound. If the one I believed myself to be was only a temporary appearance within awareness, then who am I really? And as Maharaj would gently remind the seeker, the answer cannot be found in thought, belief, or philosophy. It must be discovered directly in the silent presence that is aware of these very words right now. The presence that was here before any idea of karma ever appeared.